Well, it was a beautiful day. It was October 28th. I was taking the dog outside on a leash to take him for a walk, and there were some state troopers out in front of the house. So they said, "Are you Brian Rawls' mother?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And, you know, it was pretty clear that it wasn't good news, because they looked like like the people on TV when they go and inform a service person's family that someone has been killed in action. That's exactly how they looked. And I said, "Yes, I am." And they said, "We're just so sorry to tell you that he's been killed." So, you're just out walking the dog.
A few seconds. That's all it took for a distracted 19-year-old driver to kill Brian Rawls.
Anytime there's a fatality in an accident, they do a huge report on that. The state troopers do, and they interview the people who are involved, and they interviewed the young woman there, and she said, "Well, I was just driving down the road, and my phone rang, and I reached down, and that's the last thing I remember." So it is that 2 or 3 seconds that changed her life forever and took our son's life.
In 2009, 5,474 people were killed in distracted driving crashes. 18% of those fatal accidents involved cell phone use.
He was a great person. He's just a very supportive person. He loved people. He loved kids. He loved dogs. He was interested in a lot of things. He was just a joy from the day he was born.
Brian was a star athlete, a spirited alumnus of the University of Florida, and just beginning his professional career. The 23-year-old was on his way home to Brentwood, Tennessee, when he was killed in the crash.
I just so remembered being so proud of him for what he was doing. And I just said, "Brian, I'll be thinking of you." And, that's the last thing I ever said to him, which is very much true, that I will still be thinking of him until I die.
The U.S. Department of Transportation is working to increase public awareness about the dangers of distracted driving. Cell phone use, eating, grooming, or any activity that diverts a driver's eyes, hands, or focus is considered to be a distraction.
Brian was not killed by a texting driver. He was killed by a driver who was distracted on her cell phone. And a lot of people understand the texting thing these days. They don't understand the distraction that comes just from using your cell phone in your car.
Distracted driving can be anything from engaging in a telephone conversation to texting, checking your email. I've seen people read newspapers while they're driving down the roadway. I've seen people with DVD players mounted and they're watching television or a movie while they're driving down the roadway. Basically, distracted driving, as we define it, is anything that takes your primary focus off of operating that vehicle safely.
Texting is the most dangerous activity because it simultaneously reduces vision, control, and concentration.
The biggest thing to me is that they're fully engaged in the conversation that they're having or whatever they're looking at on their phone, be it an email, whatever they're looking at. They're more engaged with that than they are on the road.
34 states and the District of Columbia have banned texting while driving. 30 states ban drivers younger than 18, 19 in Illinois, from using cell phones while driving. 10 states ban talking on a handheld cell phone while driving.
Let's get in front of that law and act morally in it and with some accountability. We don't have to wait for the laws to be passed. We can do the right thing right now.
Police say the laws are well-intentioned but difficult to enforce.
It's difficult for law enforcement officers for us to discern what is actually happening, but if we see someone driving in a reckless manner, they might not receive a citation for texting while driving, but they can still receive a citation for reckless driving, because whatever they were doing was causing them to operate that vehicle in a reckless manner.
Officers also maintain that the number of accidents related to texting is underreported because few drivers admit the offense.
We all use cell phones. We all have one. It's a fantastic tool, but a chainsaw is a great tool as well, but you wouldn't use one in a car. There's an appropriate time and place for every tool.
Doug Rawls says another shortcoming of the law is minimal penalties in most states.
We don't hold ill will against her. She didn't mean to do this. She made a horrible mistake. Horrible mistake. She got a $50 traffic ticket. It's not about that we wanted her to be severely punished. It's about the message that that sends, that the state thinks this is not that big a deal.
To honor their son's memory, the Rawls family established a 4-year scholarship in Brian's name. They publicly share their personal story to increase awareness about the growing problem of distracted driving.
It's not something you ever get over. We think about Brian every day, and it's more learning to function in a new reality. It's not like you become less sad about it, just learning to function through that.
The couple also created the Facebook page, Stop Phoning and Driving.
I just encourage anyone watching us at any time, be that one person that changes their mind.
6,000 people a year die due to distracted driving. That's more than, that's more than people die in wars, but which people get very up in arms about, and they should. But distracted driving is 100% preventable.